Listen up, success doesn't chase anyone. It doesn't knock politely at your door. It waits for the person who's ready to step into it. The world doesn't hand out trophies for effort. It rewards presence, discipline, and relentless focus. So today, I'm going to tell you how to become the person who doesn't just hope for success, but attracts it. And if you listen closely, this speech could change the trajectory of your life. Everything you see outside of you starts inside. Your habits, your mindset, the energy you carry. That's what people notice first. That's what success smells. Look around you. The people who are winning aren't just lucky. They're disciplined. They're prepared. They're hungry. And most importantly, they've decided who they are. And they live it every single day. Oprah Winfrey didn't wait for a perfect studio. She didn't wait for the world to hand her a microphone or a camera. She brought herself, her excellence, her passion, her commitment to every audition, every stage, every room she stepped into. And the world noticed. Redefining who you are isn't some vague motivational speech. It's practical. It's daily. It's brushing your teeth with purpose, showing up early, reading when no one's watching, practicing when everyone else is asleep. It's choosing patience when the world wants you to quit. It's saying yes to growth and no to excuses. Small improvements compound. You change a little every day, and soon people start looking at you differently. They start respecting you, trusting you, believing in you. That's how you become the person success wants to meet. I remember a young man I once coached. He was smart, ambitious, but he was invisible in his own life. He blamed the system. He blamed timing. I told him, start with yourself. Show up like you already matter. Clean your room, organize your mind, set small wins every day. People notice consistency. They notice someone who owns their life. 6 months later, he got a job offer he thought he'd never have. Was it luck? No. It was him becoming the person who could handle it. Your thoughts are like magnets. What you believe about yourself determines what the world believes about you. You walk into a room like you belong. Even if you're scared to death inside, you speak with clarity. You take decisive action. You don't wait for permission. Because here's the truth: the world doesn't hand out permission slips. If you want respect, earn it. If you want opportunity, prepare for it. If you want influence, become worthy of it. Redefining yourself is hard. It's uncomfortable. You'll face days when quitting feels easier, when failure looks bigger than your courage. But remember, this courage isn't the absence of fear. It's showing up anyway. Show up for yourself. Show up for the vision you've held in silence. Show up with your shoulders back, your eyes forward, and your heart open. When you do that consistently, you don't chase success. It chases you. And once it finds you, nothing can stop you. Let me tell you something right now. Your mind is either the greatest weapon you'll ever hold or the prison that keeps you from everything you want. And most people, they live trapped by fear, trapped by doubt, trapped by the voices of others telling them they're not enough. But the truth is, those voices don't belong to you. They're borrowed, and you don't have to listen. I remember a young athlete I once met. He loved basketball, lived for it, breathed it, but he got cut from his high school team. Most people would have walked away. Most people would have said, maybe I'm not good enough, but not him. He spent that night staring at the ceiling, angry, hurt, frustrated. And then he decided, if I'm going to play, I'm going to play better. I'm going to let my mind sharpen me instead of breaking me. And you know what happened? He trained harder than anyone else. He visualized every move, every game, every shot. By the end of the year, he wasn't just on the team, he was leading it. That's the power of mindset. That's what Michael Jordan did when he got cut. He didn't quit. He transformed rejection into fuel. Your mind is exactly the same. Every thought you feed it, every story you tell yourself either builds you or breaks you. And let me be real, most people feed their minds junk. Social media drama, fear of failure, endless comparisons. That's poison. If you want success to find you, you've got to protect your mind like a fortress. Train it. Feed it with ideas that elevate you. Read books that challenge you. Listen to voices that inspire you. And most importantly, control your attention. Energy flows where attention goes. Think about that. Where your focus lands, that's what grows. Here's an exercise I tell people all the time, every morning. Write down 3 things you will focus on that day. No whining, no complaining, no distractions. Just clarity, then guard it. Treat your mind like it's the engine of a high-performance car. If you let clutter and negativity in, it sputters. If you fuel it with purpose and vision, it drives you straight to success. And let's be honest, it's not always easy. Your mind will rebel. Fear will whisper. Doubt will knock at your door. But you don't have to answer. The people who win, they answer with courage. They answer with discipline. They answer with a relentless refusal to be controlled by anything outside themselves. That's how champions are made. That's how ordinary people do extraordinary things. So what's the takeaway? Protect your mind. Train your thoughts. Focus like a laser. Fill your head with what lifts you, not what drags you down. And remember this, the battlefield for your success isn't outside, it's inside. Win there first, and the world will have no choice but to notice. Let me hit you with the truth right now. Talent alone won't get you anywhere. You can be the smartest, the fastest, the most creative person in the room, but if you don't have discipline, all that potential is just a spark that fizzles out before it lights anything up. Talent without discipline is like a race car with no engine. Flashy, sure, but going nowhere. Discipline turns chaos into results. It's the bridge between dreams and reality. Think about Elon Musk. 4 to 6 hours of sleep a night, juggling multiple companies, building rockets, electric cars, satellites. Most of us would collapse under half that pressure. But here's the point. You don't have to be him. You just have to show up consistently and refuse to let excuses run your life. Discipline isn't about burning out. It's about building systems that carry you even when motivation is gone. I remember a young woman I once worked with, brilliant mind, overflowing with ideas, but she kept jumping from one project to the next. She wanted everything to happen fast. Sound familiar? I told her, you're not failing because you're not smart. You're failing because you're scattered. You need a system. You need structure. You need discipline. So we mapped out her mornings, her evenings, her work blocks. 3 months later, she launched a project that brought her recognition she'd only dreamed of. Talent got her started. Discipline finished the race. Discipline is showing up even when no one's watching. It's doing the small, boring things that build momentum over time. Making the bed, showing up on time, following through on commitments. It's the 1% improvement stacking day by day, week by week, until suddenly people are asking, how did you do it? And you smile because you know it was the invisible work that got you there. Here's a practical takeaway. Write down your non-negotiables. These are the things you commit to doing no matter what. Stick to them like glue. Protect your time like it's gold. And when temptation comes, and it will, remember why you started. Motivation fades. Excuses flood in. Discipline doesn't care. Discipline says, show up anyway. Discipline is what separates dreamers from achievers. I've seen it countless times. People who complain, people who wait, people who hope, they stay stuck. People who act, people who commit, people who push past discomfort, they get results. They don't wait for inspiration. They create it. They don't wait for perfect conditions. They make progress with what they've got. So start today. Build routines that support your goals. Keep your promises to yourself. Show up every day, even when you don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when everyone else is quitting. That's the person success notices. That's the person who doesn't just dream, it wins. Let me tell you something right now. No one makes it alone. Success isn't a solo act. It's a team sport. And yet, most people try to do it all by themselves. They grind in silence, hoping opportunity will drop into their lap. But opportunity doesn't just show up. It comes through people who see your value, people who challenge you, people who push you beyond what you think is possible. I remember a young entrepreneur I once mentored. He was brilliant, full of ideas, but he kept failing. He was networking, sure, but only with people who told him what he wanted to hear. Comfort, not challenge. After months of frustration, I said to him, look, your circle is holding you back. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Who are they? He paused, really thought about it. Then he started reaching out to mentors, people who had already walked the path, people who were a step ahead. And almost immediately, his perspective changed. His confidence grew. Doors started opening. That's the power of your network. Not all connections are equal. Handshakes and business cards aren't enough. You need relationships that demand growth, accountability, and action. Surround yourself with people who see your potential, who won't let you slide, who challenge you to raise your standards. Because when you're in the right room with the right energy, opportunities start finding you. People remember the person who brings value, who listens, who contributes, who shows up consistently. Here's the practical part. Don't just collect contacts, build trust. Offer help before asking for help. Celebrate others' wins. Show genuine interest in people's journeys. Because networks built on give and take, on respect, and on shared vision, they last. They open doors you didn't even know existed. I also want to tell you a story from my own life. Early in my career, I met a seasoned professional at a conference. I could have just taken his card and moved on. But I didn't. I asked questions. I listened. I followed up. Years later, that connection led to a project that transformed my career. It wasn't luck. It was the investment I made in the relationship. That's what networking really is. Planting seeds, nurturing them, showing up even when it seems like nothing is happening. And remember this, people are drawn to energy. Be the kind of person others want to be around. Bring value, bring integrity, bring curiosity. Make yourself someone who inspires, who uplifts, who challenges. Because the more value you bring, the more doors open. The more doors open, the more opportunities appear. And suddenly, you realize you're no longer chasing success. It's chasing you. So choose your circle wisely. Build relationships that stretch you. Seek mentors, collaborators, challengers, and friends who elevate your game. Protect your time with people who matter. And watch as your life transforms, not because of luck, but because of the people you choose to surround yourself with. Let me be straight with you. Success isn't something you wait for. You don't stumble into it. You don't get a golden ticket handed to you. Success comes to the person who walks like they already have it, who carries themselves with belief, who refuses to shrink in a room just because it's bigger than they are. Confidence is magnetic, not arrogance, real confidence. The kind that makes people stop, take notice, and say, I want to be around that energy. I remember a young woman I met who wanted to launch her business, but didn't believe anyone would take her seriously. She dressed cautiously, spoke softly, and avoided eye contact in meetings. I told her, walk in like the person you're meant to be. Speak like your ideas matter, because they do. It wasn't easy for her. Fear was loud. Doubt was louder. But the moment she changed her posture, her tone, the way she carried herself, the world responded differently. People listened. Doors opened. Opportunities arrived. That's the power of acting like success is already yours. Take Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. She didn't just walk into meetings hoping to sell her idea. She believed it could change the industry. She acted like it was already a done deal. Investors, partners, customers, they didn't just buy her product. They bought her vision, her confidence, her certainty. And that's the lesson. When you behave like you're already there, the world starts to treat you like you are. Here's something you can do today. Start small. Walk into every meeting, every room, every conversation with intention. Make eye contact. Speak clearly. Stand tall. Decide before you enter that you will contribute value, that you will leave an impression, that you will take decisive action. It's simple, but it's not easy. Confidence is built in action, not just thought. I've seen it countless times in my own life. Early on, I had opportunities where I didn't feel ready. I doubted myself, but I showed up anyway. I acted like I belonged. I took ownership of the room, the conversation, the challenge, and every time that belief carried me farther than talent alone ever could. Because people respond to energy. They respond to certainty. They respond to someone who refuses to hesitate when it matters most. Acting like success is already yours isn't about pretending. It's about embodying the future version of yourself. The person who doesn't wait for permission, who doesn't shrink, who doesn't let fear dictate behavior. It's about showing up with courage, conviction, and clarity every single day. When you do that, the world notices. Doors open, opportunities multiply. People want to be part of your journey, and slowly, steadily, you become the person you've been acting like all along. Let me be clear. Success doesn't just knock on your door. It doesn't text you. It doesn't wait politely while you figure things out. Success isn't something that happens to you. It's something you become. And the person you become today, the choices you make, the habits you build, the courage you show, determines everything that comes next. I've seen people full of potential fail over and over, not because they lack talent, not because the world was against them, but because they weren't ready to be the person success demands. You can't show up with half a heart, half a mind, half a will, and expect the world to hand you victory. You have to become that person in every way. Discipline, courage, confidence, integrity. These aren't just words. They are the building blocks of a life that attracts opportunities instead of chasing them. I remember a young man I once met, brilliant, hardworking, but he was scared to ask for what he wanted. He waited for someone else to validate him. I told him, start small. Do one thing every day that scares you. Show up even when you feel invisible. Build your muscle of courage. A year later, he was leading his team, winning contracts, being recognized not because he was luckier, but because he had become the person capable of carrying success. The person who attracts success radiates energy people can't ignore. Confidence, not arrogance. Discipline, not chaos. Courage, not hesitation. When you become that person, doors open. Opportunities come. People want to work with you, invest in you, follow your lead. The world responds to energy, to presence, to someone who refuses to settle for mediocrity. Here's something practical you can do every morning. Ask yourself, who am I becoming today? Not what will I achieve, not what will I get, who am I becoming? And then act like that person. Walk like them, talk like them, make decisions like them. Show up in meetings, in relationships, in your work as if you are already the person success is waiting for. Because here's this, the truth energy flows where attention goes. You decide where your attention goes. You decide who you are becoming. And let me warn you, this path isn't easy. There will be setbacks. There will be people who doubt you, doors that slam in your face, moments when giving up seems simpler than showing up. But that's exactly when you rise. That's exactly when you grow. The world doesn't reward the timid. It rewards the brave, the consistent, the relentless. So stand tall, step forward, take ownership of your life. Become the person who commands respect, who attracts opportunities, who refuses to settle. The world is waiting for people like you, people who show up, who stand firm, who take what's theirs. Ask yourself, right now, who are you becoming today? That person, that version of you, is the one success has been waiting for. And when you show up as them, nothing will be able to stop you.